The greatest skill that you can have as a leader is grit. You don't grow in security. You don't grow in comfort. You grow when you're pushing yourself. What I thought was going to break me is the very thing that has set us up for where we're at today. So what does it actually mean to be a leader? Leadership is service. Like, that's the bottom line. It requires a willingness to make sacrifices, make decisions, and operate in a way that is not going to be always the thing that's going to be the easiest or the most innate for you. I've heard a lot of people imply that you're either born a leader or you're not, and I actually disagree with that. I think that there are personalities and traits and characteristics that you are born with for sure that might lend you to be more of a natural leader, but I believe that leadership is something that you can learn. It's a skill you can grow into. It is character traits that you can develop over time. I'm a firm believer in the concept of be, do, have leadership. Like, people often look at leadership or success and they just see the end result. And at the end of the day, in order to achieve that, you have to be the person that you need to become in order to get those results. Then you actually have to do the work, take the actions, do the activities before you can actually achieve and have those results. And so everything centers around the starting point, which is who you need to be, who you need to show up as, how you need to think. That is the starting point of all leadership. That's why I actually believe that you can become a leader even if you don't feel like you have those natural type A personality, natural leadership skills, the kind of like the person who takes charge in the room. I think a lot about my niece, my eldest niece. She's the firstborn in the family. She has all these natural born leadership qualities, and everybody always equates that to like, oh, she could lead this group, or she could lead her cousins, lead a family get together. She could lead an organization because of these natural born characteristics and these qualities that often we possess. But I also believe that somebody who doesn't necessarily have those natural characteristics and qualities can become a leader because you can develop those skills. It is absolutely something that can be learned and traits that you can grow in. More times than not, I wake up on a daily basis asking myself, how am I even qualified to be a leader? I knew as a child, and I knew as a teenager and all the things that I was getting involved with in my life that I wanted to lead. I knew I had this desire to serve and to give back. I read this quote once and it resonated with me as a teenager about how the greatest gift that you can possibly give is to bring energy into every room that you're in, every conversation that you're in, and just to leave people better than you found them. That's always sort of the mantra that I've taken into almost every situation that I've been in. And so right from the time that I was a teenager wanting to help with like Sunday school or youth group to, volunteering for a food drive or a food bank, I found myself not just like volunteering, but being like, what can I do to help? Like, how can I organize this part of it? And so there was this element of these natural born leadership qualities because I wanted to serve and I wanted to give back. But on the flip side, I came from a family that was broken, and more often than not, we had no idea where our next meal was going to come from. And so there was this juxtaposition as I got older, and I opened up a lot more leadership opportunities and doors because I'm a firm believer that you just, if the door's not open, like push it open. And these doors would open, and it was like this juxtaposition of wanting it to open because I had this passion and this desire to lead versus, am I qualified? Like, I don't come from this successful family that has, all these credentials and this credibility and a broken home. So like, what would I have to give? What would I have to serve with? But I knew in my heart that I wanted to. I think the longer that I have been in leadership, I've come to realize that you're never ready. But if you want it and you desire the opportunity to bring value to other people and to help see people become the very best version of themselves and to achieve their goals and to reach for their dreams, it's going to require not always being ready and things not always being perfect. And that was hard for me. And I think a lot of times I actually probably missed opportunities because I was too caught up in my head, or imposter syndrome was kicking in to the level that I didn't feel qualified, and I would miss opportunities. And so as the years have gone on, and especially as I've gotten into real estate, into sales, and into, management, and then starting a real estate team, and now building a large organization, and now a community within the real estate industry, all of these things have been opportunities that I've created and doors that I've had to open, knowing that I wasn't ready, knowing that I wasn't the most qualified person in the room. In fact, I was probably the least qualified. I just knew that I wanted it, and I knew that I wanted a way and a vehicle to be able to impact other people's lives. And leadership is truly one of the solutions for that. I woke up one morning in November 2017 to a text message from my business partner at the time, asking me to meet him for a coffee in 1 hour. And I was like, at 7:00 this morning, we have such a big day ahead of us. Backtrack, we had launched North Group the summer before, and we were just tracking along. We'd been working together in the business a few years previous, and things were going great. We launched our brand, we made waves in the industry, we won awards that year for our brand, and we were looking to grow, we were looking to expand. And my business partner and we had actually met with another amazing team owner who was looking to align with us and wanted to bring our teams together. And so we'd spent a number of months doing due diligence and meetings and putting in roles and budgets and all the things. And we were going to announce that day that we were going to become this conglomerate of this massive North Group real estate team. And we were bringing all of our agents and all of the leaders of our brokerages together because we were all going to be merging. And it was a very exciting moment for me in my career. I was really excited about this particular time in team building and our journey as well, because my business partner really wanted me to focus on the things that I absolutely loved about leadership and marketing and branding and building our organization. And then we were all going to have very specific roles that were going to allow us to really grow and scale, with like someone with a sales focus, someone with an operational focus, and then myself with like growth and vision and leadership and recruiting and all those things that I just am so passionate about. And so it was going to be a really big day. And that text message kind of threw me, but I was like, okay, well, he obviously wants to go over the plan for the day. And so I got myself together, got ready, and went to the local coffee shop that he asked me to meet him at, and sat down across from him. And he looked me square in the eye and he said, I'm leaving. And I was like, leaving what? And he explained that he would be leaving North Group and that we would no longer be in business together. Again, the day that we were merging with this massive real estate team, or merging with another team to become a massive mega team together, with three leaders, and we would all be working together. And I remember at that moment, all I had was this flash before my eyes that I would be going to this big event that we were putting on, and that I would be going into business with just this one other leader. That's how we were going to build and grow for the years to come. I walked away from that meeting confused, and there was very little explanation, but I just had to trust. A lot of leadership is just trusting, because you don't always know the answers and you don't always understand why. It's actually a lot of life, to be honest. But I wasn't given a lot of context, but I knew that I needed to keep moving forward. And long story short, 1 hour after I left that meeting, the phone rang again, and the other partner said, we're not doing this. I had no warning whatsoever. I had nothing prepared me for that moment. I remember being where I was and just like my eyes filling up with tears, because I was like, I thought I had like the next 10 years figured out what it was going to look like, what we were going to build, how we were going to lead. And most of all, I started thinking about all the people that had bought into what we had shared with them, what we were going to be doing, what we had promised. That is a big deal for me, because I am, to my core, a leader with so much heart, and I just care so much about the people that I get to partner with and to align with and get to be in business with. And I was like, what now? Like, what am I going to say to our agents? I didn't see it in that exact moment, but it was a few hours later that it all became crystallized, that they decided that they were going to partner together and that I was going to be the person that was not going to be in business with them. So everything that I had built, North Group was my vision. I had brought in this other partner. We grew together, and then we were bringing in a third partner, and I was the one pushed out from it. I looked at it, and it was a lot to process that two other individuals chose each other and chose to go into business together without me and didn't see enough value in me at the time. As time goes on and as life goes on and years pass by, at first you feel a little sorry for yourself, for sure. I did definitely have moments of like, why is this happening to me and why am I not good enough? But I have learned over the years that nothing is happening to you, it's happening for you. I can honestly say, looking back, that moment in time solidified me becoming the leader that I am today. If I had stayed in that environment, I probably wouldn't have had the challenges that I have faced on my own and the opportunities to be stretched and to grow and to become the version of myself that I have become today. It would have been a lot more of a secure leadership position for me. And you don't grow in security. You don't grow in comfort. You grow when you're pushing yourself outside of that. And that's exactly what that situation forced upon me. There's actually so many lessons in all of this, but I think if you were to take one away, it's that you can do hard things. The greatest skill that you can have as a leader is grit. I believe that when difficult things happen for you and you have the opportunity to look at that obstacle as a path to growth, as a path to development and expanding, that's where the magic happens. And what felt like such a dark day has actually turned into the greatest gift that it could have ever received in our industry. Not only has it challenged me and grown me as a leader and pushed me as a human beyond a breaking point, I also just had such a privilege too of seeing the loyalty of our team partners who stuck with me through that. I will be indebted for life to those agents that are still stayed with North Group and are still in business with me today. I'm so grateful. We have grown from that point. I mean, believe me when I say there have been missteps even since, and there have been setbacks and so many opportunities to learn and to grow. But what I thought was going to break me is the very thing that has set us up for where we're at today. I'm just grateful. We have an amazing team of 24, 25 agents, and our production is up in a down market year over year for the last number of years. And the feeling of what we have built, the space that we've created and own ourselves for our team, the culture that is borderline unbreakable within North Group, I credit it all to not giving up that day and having the grit to go through really difficult circumstances, face embarrassment, face feeling insecure and inferior because I was the one they didn't want to be in business with, and just turning it all around for what we could do with it. And I'm proud of that.